Beauty is a highly subjective concept, and what we consider beautiful can be very different from other people's views. It can manifest itself in many forms, from majestic landscapes to exquisite works of art. From the symmetry of nature to the reflection of the sun's rays in an ordinary bottle, the perception of beauty is a uniquely human quality, ingrained in our biology millions of years ago. Even our first instruments were designed with symmetry not for practical reasons, but rather because it evoked positive emotions in us. Throughout history, beauty standards have changed many times, and varied depending on cultural context. However, despite individual and time preferences, some principles remain unchanged from ancient times to the present day. One of these principles is the golden ratio, a harmonious relationship of proportions that can be observed in many works of nature and art. The golden ratio has the ability to instill in us a sense of peace and balance. It is found in architecture from ancient Egypt to modern engineering, suggesting that humans have an innate predilection for certain aesthetic proportions. Another fundamental principle of beauty is symmetry. We often find symmetrical shapes more attractive, perhaps because they are subconsciously associated with health and vitality. Symmetry is found in many forms of life, from the simplest organisms to the most complex animals. It is also a key characteristic of many architectural works such as temples and cathedrals, giving us a sense of harmony and order. In recent years, scientists have discovered that fractals, self-similar patterns found in nature, also play an important role in our perception of beauty. Fractals create a sense of infinity and complexity, drawing our attention and creating a sense of admiration. We find them in shells, trees, clouds, and more, suggesting a deep connection between our biology and our environment. The reason why beauty gives us pleasure still remains unclear. Some researchers suggest this is due to evolutionary advantages. We may have evolved to value beauty because it indicated an environment conducive to life, such as food sources, safe habitats, or potential mates. Other scientists believe that the perception of beauty is the result of a complex interaction between our cognitive and emotional processes, and that it does not necessarily serve any specific evolutionary purpose. In addition to the pleasure that beauty gives us, it also plays an important role in our well-being and life experience. A beautiful environment improves our mood, reduces stress, improves sleep, and can even speed up recovery. There is evidence that exposure to beauty, art, music, nature, promotes the release of hormones such as endorphins, which have a calming and pain-relieving effect. In conclusion, beauty is a fundamental part of human existence that is ingrained in our biology and culture. Although its precise definition may elude us, we respond instinctively to it, finding pleasure, comfort, and inspiration in its various manifestations. From majestic mountains to exquisite works of art, from the symmetry of nature to the chaos of fractals, beauty surrounds us and brings meaning and joy to our lives. In the modern world, more and more attention is being paid to the influence of visual aesthetics on our well-being, behavior, and health. Experimental studies with skin sensors show that monotonous, dull building facades can make us bored and uncomfortable. This type of boredom is accompanied by increased heart rate and increased stress levels, while interesting and attractive facades, on the contrary, have a calming and peaceful effect. Over the past decades, a large body of research has demonstrated that an aesthetically pleasing environment has beneficial effects on our overall well-being, cognitive function, and mood. Our bodies and brains are sensitive and actively respond to visual stimuli, and beauty, in particular, has a significant impact on our state. This observation led to the conclusion that creating functional objects in an aesthetically pleasing design actually increases their utility and value. In 2017, one hospital study examined the impact of visual arts on patient recovery. Observations and conversations with patients showed that the presence of art in the seating areas increased their comfort level, making the hospital stay more enjoyable and less stressful. Another study looked at the impact of ward environment on patient recovery. Old, tatty wards and new, renovated ones were compared. To the researchers' surprise, patients in the renovated, more aesthetically pleasing rooms required less pain medication and were discharged from the hospital on average 2 days earlier compared to patients in the older rooms. Thus, a more favorable aesthetic environment contributed to their overall well-being including their physical condition. Aesthetic appeal also has a significant impact on our daily lives. Research has shown that it can increase our levels of happiness and satisfaction. One such study, looking at the key factors influencing well-being in adults, found that, in addition to fundamental factors such as job satisfaction, relationships, and health, the aesthetic appeal of the environment is one of the most significant factors, determining overall levels of happiness. Our perception of beauty is subjective, and what we consider aesthetically pleasing may depend on our individual preferences and cultural factors. However, there are general principles that are often associated with beauty, such as symmetry, proportionality, and harmony. These principles can be observed in works of art, architecture, nature, and even everyday objects. Understanding the impact of aesthetics on our well-being has important practical implications. Architects, designers, and urban planners can use this knowledge to create buildings, public spaces, and cities that are not only functional, but also aesthetically pleasing and promote people's overall well-being. In healthcare settings, the design and furnishings of spaces can positively influence the healing process and reduce stress levels for patients and staff. In educational settings, an aesthetically pleasing environment can enhance motivation and learning effectiveness. Increasing recognition of the importance of aesthetics in shaping our lives and experiences highlights how complex and multifaceted our interactions with our environment are. By understanding how beauty affects us, we can make more informed decisions about how to gestalten und Umgebung und damit unser Leben verbessern.